Hey, Mike.
Hey, Geert.
And Larry. Hi.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Geert. I notice I've got extras finally.
Yes, it's taken a while for some people to get them, apparently.
Yeah. We're just underprivileged here in America.
Just randomly, slowly rolling this out, I think.
Well, that's great. I like that.
So, how have you guys been?
Great.
Yeah, you've got a long weekend this weekend, Mike, apparently.
This is Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
We call it Columbus Day.
Well, you have to have some kind of excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't do much on Columbus Day. I think everything's open. Everybody goes to school, so we have to wait another month for Thanksgiving to officially come around here in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those Canadians are just ahead of us. I guess you're trying to beat the snow.
So I had an expression of interest from a woman called Chrissie Caulfield. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
No.
So I just sent her an invite. She's got a little band called Cat Scans and Midnight Llama. So we'll see if she joins. I think she just saw the instrument and thought, oh, that's neat.
Right. Hey, Antonio. It's fun to see you guys again. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to make it last week. It's some last minute things to take care of.
We had a real good time.
Hi everyone.
Hey.
Hi Larry.
Morning.
Hey Geert.
Hey Chrissie.
Hi.
Hi.
All right.
We can't hear you. I don't know if you're speaking, Chrissie. But... Oh yeah, now we can. Now we can.
Okay. I'll keep quiet and let you play.
Nice to meet you.
And you too.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of Eigenharp players hanging around and just exchanging whatever stuff we've been doing and working on, and so this is all very unprepared and just as if it would be a real clubhouse. But thanks to what Google Plus Hangouts allow you to do now, we just do it all over the world. So where are you from?
I'm in England, in Leeds.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we really are all over the world. Canada, America, Belgium, UK. You're Portugal, right, Antonio? I always forget.
Yeah.
Portugal.
Yeah,
so.
Portugal.
Hey, Antonio,
Sunny.
that last video of you played, a very quick one, was so beautiful. It was very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. I've already played that here on the Hangouts some couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a small part of it, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed it to my girlfriend, and she was very impressed. She said, like, "Wow, it's beautiful."
Yeah, it's sad times, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, what can you do? Life goes on, huh?
Yeah, yeah, have to go on. Yeah.
So yeah, Antonio asked me some questions on Twitter 2 days ago. What was going on with all those MIDI setups? I don't know if
yeah.
if you guys had the same kind of questions, but it's something I mentioned this before in the Hangouts that I already planned quite a while ago to just build a very bare bones setup for two reasons, which is it's a teaching tool, so that you could just read over the way it's constructed and learn yourself how to construct an Eigenharp setup from scratch. And then also, just for people that wanted this, there have been a couple of people over the last few months that have asked for something that was just a regular MIDI controller, and that kind of gives it, because it starts up in 2 seconds and just does MIDI.
Yeah.
So if MIDI is all you want, then maybe this is something that's good for people.
Yeah, wish I could have had some couple of months. It shows a lot more.
Hey, Andrew.
Going on.
Wow.
Yeah. Andrew's in the chat. Okay.
Just
Great.
no mic.
I don't know
I don't know if you guys know Andrew. He makes a Silent Way plugins that does.
Yeah.
And
No, I remember.
And he just bought a, what is it, a sound plane, right? I read it on Twitter. This is his new controller. When are you getting it, Andrew? Okay. When they're made. Well, that's always like that when new stuff is starting out, right? It takes a while for the production to ramp up. It looks nice though, being able to touch a flat wooden controller with wooden surface.
Oh, that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, look nice. It's but you can't buy everything, right? I still have
I thought you could.
No, I can't.
Yeah. Geert, on the MIDI, the stripped down MIDI version.
Yeah.
The only real advantage. First of all, thanks. It was interesting to read the bel canto for
the bel canto. Yeah.
But secondly, as far as I can tell, the only real advantage is it's a really small setup.
Yes. Yeah. It demos one thing that we haven't put in the older factory setups, which is something that we added a while ago, to be able to create a controller key that moves in 3D, so that you could tie that directly to MIDI CC message, so that you kind of get a joystick-like control over MIDI CC. So that's a nice demo of that, because there was space to put it in. But for the rest, there is no real advantage. It's just for people that didn't want to wait for the loading times for stuff that they don't use. And as an example, yeah. Yeah, Andrew, we'll just keep an eye on the chat whenever you've got something to say. Just go ahead, type it. So yeah,
I wanted to thank Antonio. Antonio sent me a script for lights.
Right.
I don't know if you can see that back there, but
yeah,
I'm so happy to have lights now.
Yeah, I'm sort of using Larry as a testing. Yeah.
Hey Antonio, you should look at the lights that I put on those last MIDI setups. This is kind of another way that I done it there. Yes, it's kind of it's lighter weight. It just actually creates just a talker that does nothing, instead of creating a talker with a dummy gain agent, which was kind of the way that things were done before. And now it's just a talker that does nothing, meaning that it basically will light up a key as it being something that could do something, but it will basically do nothing. And then you get the light for it, which is a bit lighter weight.
I tried to run it yesterday, but with the weekend I have always got shows going on. Just landed a couple of hours ago. I didn't try it, or it didn't run very well. I've not run it here. I have to maybe go line by line on that bel canto if I can.
If you want to port it to your stuff, you'll probably have to see which parts you want to take and which not. And
I have to look that better.
Yeah.
But I've read it. Yeah.
So Chrissie, do you have an Eigenharp, or are you just merely interested, or?
I'm just nosy. I like weird things.
Cool. You play another instrument?
I play violin. I play with lots of effects and occasionally midis and things.
Cool.
So I'm interested in doing strange things.
Right.
Musically.
Yeah. Well,
I think you'd wanted to hear one of the Eigenharps.
I did, yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, what kind of? Well, I'm a very traditional musician. I don't do many weird things. I'm like my background is singer, songwriter, folk guitar player, and I moved into the Eigenharp because I've always been frustrated not being able to play the piano, and actually I don't like to play with my hands horizontally. So so that's why I'm attracted to the Eigenharp, but I'm not into doing weird stuff. Well, I know a lot of people that do, but everyone their own style. But I can't really demo many weird things. I can demo traditional things.
I like the Philip Glass stuff. Some people would consider that not traditional.
Right. Let's see if we've got it set up. Yeah. got the sound cutting out a bit, but I think Kontakt has still loading the samples. Yeah, there it is. Don't know if you can hear that, Chrissie.
Yeah, I can, yes.
Yeah, okay, hang on, just gotta transpose it, I think. It's been a long time since I've played this. I can't remember. That's my eternal bane. So basically what I did here, I'll just do the technical part of it and not embarrass myself. This is set up as a patch for a sampler-based instrument that's made by Soniccouture that samples an instrument that's made out of glass, where people actually rub over iron rods that make the glass vibrate. And what I did here was basically each key is kind of like it is an iron rod, because you can move them independently into different directions. Right?
Oh,
and
wow.
at the same time, don't know if there is very faint, but if I move to the left side, but I don't think you can hear it due to the compression. But there is some kind of very faint scraping sound going on when I go to the left side. So as I play, you get this kind of feeling that you're moving over something. Hey, Nick. Can't remember how to play it. So that's one of the sounds that I set up. And what if you, let me see if I've got. Not sure where. Sometimes people wonder how is this stuff done. No, this is not the right one. Maybe this one. Okay. So I'm gonna share this. Do screen sharing on a particular window now. This is some new thing we can do. Oops. So the extras are still experimental. Just crashed. So yeah, apparently screen sharing is crashing, so I can't show that. So
I've put the link to Soniccouture on the chat.
Cool.
Yes,
Maybe helps.
So so something else that I could show that I've set up, I think. Where is that? Here, you can see a whole lot of pretty lights.
Oh yes.
Right. So this is another sampler-based instrument from Soniccouture, which is a HangDrum, where actually the geometry of the instrument has been changed. Instead of having a series of keys that let me just go like this. They go like. Right, instead of having traditional notes going like that, what this does is basically I set up regions that are all playing the same sound but with different variations. So this is as if it would be an area on an actual HangDrum. And since these keys are so sensitive, I can basically just rub them a little bit and get.
Fantastic.
And you get this kind of same experience as if you would be hitting a real instrument that's set up like that, because you're not thinking of, okay, I have to hit the right note or key. You just play instinctively in the areas that you want to play, right? So it was just something that I tried out a while ago to see if it's actually possible to change the physical playing style that you're using on this instrument, and it is. So, and on the bottom here, I've got a second one set up, which is tuned differently. So.
That's lovely.
So yeah, well, it's just all a matter of imagination and trying to kind of juggle with the limitations of current technology, which is usually going over MIDI, and then you got a little bit creative, seeing how you get it there. But it's generally possible. Antonio, you said you had something.
That in?
Sorry.
What are you playing that in? I mean,
this is Kontakt.
This is
Soniccouture.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have Morpheus, and I'm waiting to get Kontakt. In fact, I ordered Complete 8 on the weekend. So when I get that, then I can start putting stuff in there like the Morpheus one.
Right. So the nice thing about Kontakt is that it's basically a super instrument where you can create a multi out of different individual instruments. So if you want to have sounds that behave independently, like that, like those glass rods things that I was doing earlier, you just set up several instances of the same instrument and they behave independently, and then you can have the keys move into different directions. Yeah. So that's quite nice.
Lots to learn.
I have that. I'm playing with 4 accordions. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4.
We can't hear the Eigenharp very well, Antonio.
Slow. Maybe it's on my speakers. Sorry. Yeah, it's not on. Check that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It was
better.
On the speakers. I have 4 accordions here, what Geert mentioned, so I can have different it's not configured with what I used to it. Old setting.
Yeah. Sometimes we can't remember what we set up, right?
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
This is also a Kontakt based. That's the way I want it. I'm changing setups here.
Okay, well, I'll just show something else to Chrissie, just to give her an idea. But this is some stuff that most people already have seen, so I don't know, just stop me, Chrissie, if you've seen it on the internet or not. So another thing that I did, I'm not sure that it's demo it very easily, but so since I'm a guitar player, I thought it would be interesting to try to use the Eigenharp as if it was a guitar. And so you see here at the bottom, Right, those are what we call the percussion keys. But basically, they are as sensitive as the playing keys. So what I did was I transformed the upper 6 percussion keys as if they would be the guitar strings, and by rubbing over them, it would be as if I'm hitting the guitar strings. So then I can play. So it's another way of kind of physically transforming how the possibilities of the Eigenharp interact with the sounds that are being created. So it's another demo.
Wow.
There. So yeah, it's actually quite amazing because as a guitar player, I thought that this would never work, but it feels very, very real.
So how are you strumming the keys to the bottom?
Let me see.
Sure.
So it really responds to every nuance that you put on those keys. So,
Gosh.
well, yes, this is all just ideas that I've toyed around with, but a lot of other people do other stuff. It's the fact that the main thing about the Eigenharp are the keys. The keys are so nice to touch and so nice to play with that you just start being creative with them. It was quite interesting because last night my girlfriend started playing the Eigenharp Tau, which is the mid-range model. She's a singer. She sings very well, but she has she hasn't learned an instrument. Bye, Andrew. She hasn't learned an instrument before, and she's always wanted to learn an instrument. And she started a bit with the Pico, but it was a little bit limiting because she couldn't do many chord voicings that she wanted to do. And she started with the Tau yesterday, and she was the first remark right off the bat was, "I don't want to stop because these keys feel so nice." It's I think that's what everyone that plays the Eigenharp has as an experience, and which, in my opinion, makes it so nice to play, so passionate, so expressive, so emotional, because you can feel all these nuances and details that you put into touching the keys.
Yeah, they are real wood, the keys.
But you can have them in real wood. There's different versions.
Yeah.
That's why I'm even just playing the piano. I like playing the piano on the Eigenharp because the keys just feel so nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's something maybe you've already seen because this has been demoed a few times. So the Eigenharp also comes with a physical model of a cello. So where you basically on the sides you use the sides as if it was a bow, and then you. So again, the slightest brush is being registered, and you can build up these.
It's nice drum.
And here on these keys, you can get this tremolo going very easily. The nice thing is that it's on the physical key itself, which is, emotionally what you want to do. If you want to do some vibrato, you just put it here where you play, instead of what synthesizers have done over the years, which is kind of put it externally.
Yes. So. Wow.
So that's a very short overview.
Thank you.
I like that magic key over here that does also the cello. If you play,
right.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you have a bow to the left and to the right.
So this again is because those keys are so sensitive at the bottom. Even I strummed them before, but just basically brushing over them can be registered as if it is a bow that goes left and right, which is what it just showed.
I've put that accordion on. Let's see. I have 4 of them, and I can have different intensities. It's a bit weird, but just to show the possibilities. That's one of the possibilities. Can be a lot of expressive. Something like that. I'm not in the best position to show or to play.
And another aspect, maybe, so when I played the cello before, I was in the standard tuning, which is going up like that, basically C major, but which means that this is a 4th. But if I want, I can reconfigure this. This is something that I set up. You can set up whatever you want. But now, it's tuned in 5ths as if it would be a real cello, and it's chromatic.
Sensible finger positions was always my problem with the cello.
So this is basically, all stuff that's very easy to change, and it allows you to adapt the instrument to how you prefer to play instead of the other way around. So yeah. So. Anyone had anything you wanted to discuss, or particular topic you wanted to bring up? Oh.
Not really.
What do the lights do on the fingerboard?
Yeah, maybe you go.
Go ahead, Antonio. I talk enough.
Now this is something users come up, so we can know our way in the keyboard and which scale we are using, sort of like the dots on the guitar, or.
I see.
Yeah, it's helpful to know. Here I have the tonics light red, so it's always the same notes, different octaves, and the 5th. But it's something that Eigenharps is perfection, so we can change the scales and come up with different lightnings.
So there can be anything you like, really.
Yes, it's used. So what Antonio there did is something that he did himself. He used the lights as markers to find his way around the actual notes. But when you get the instrument with the way it's configured by default from the factory, basically the way the lights work is just as what you see with Antonio there. When he flicks through, is basically to give you a roadmap across the functionalities of the instrument. Okay. So because these keys can basically do whatever you like, the lights are being used to kind of guide you to see where you are, what you can do, and to make that easy, different patterns of lights are being used so that you can recognize them and then say, okay, this is where I can actually change scales, and this is where I can change the effects and stuff like that. And,
yeah, that's actually one of the great strengths of this instrument, right? Is you can run it. Am I there? You can run it I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, yes, I am. Hold on. Watch me knock my laptop on the floor.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Another use for the Eigenharp.
Yeah. When you hold this button, you get a menu of stuff. So you end up with, the sampler instruments and the other instruments. So switching between instruments is very simple. And you can have multiple keyboards. So, that's not a very good one to show it. So you can see these divider lines divide up. Well, they're all piano now, but I could pick, I don't know, this is a wonky little...
Different sounds.
So that lets you, it's hard to do this because the feedback is slow. But, so it's really a control interface that the lights form as well, which is very handy.
Yes, and as Antonia says, we're kind of working on the next versions on making this, the lights more powerful. We've got ideas if you want to do some funky stuff on stage and use them as a scrolling billboard or something like that. So, if you want to project the name of your girlfriend on stage and say "I love you, baby," so you can do that. So this is something that will be possible soon.
Well, I like his red and green lights so much. Sitting over here in the corner of my living room, I figured, Christmas time is coming up. I'll just put a Christmas tree up there and maybe flash the lights and so forth.
Well, we had a mode in
the metronome.
We had a Christmas mode in the Eigenharp for demos on fairs. It's true. It's basically it cycles. Whenever you touch it, it cycles to the next color, and then people can go over the keyboard, and it kind of creates all these interesting patterns. Christmas mode.
Yeah.
Can you tie the lights to the arranger?
You could, but it needs a little bit of coding.
Well, it all does.
You can't currently.
With the Eigenharp, I think it's all possible. Coding it's to.
It's quite motivating now that some people are starting to actually look at the underlying software, how it's implemented. So I don't know if you know, Chrissie, but the actual functionalities run on a computer, basically because computers get faster every month, and building such processing power inside the instrument would make it very quickly obsolete. So it's like a little bit like an external brain that you put somewhere else, and then Eigenlabs developed these cables that are very high throughput and very stable in terms of carrying the data between the computer and the instrument, so that this brain can be externalized. And then afterwards, if you want to upgrade your computer, you get more functionalities, you get more power, and you can play more instruments at the same time and stuff like that. So this kind of turns your instrument into a lifelong investment instead of having this built into it and being tied to whatever the computer at that time was able to do. So so that the software that runs on the computer is available to anyone as open source, just as Linux is available, and Firefox and Mozilla, and so now we were starting to get some people that are looking into the source that are not part of the development team, the official development team. So that's going to be very interesting once they come up with new stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Just a brief question. What is the specification or the bit rate on the cable from the Eigenharp to the base station?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
You should ask John.
Really damn quick.
Yeah, it's extremely quick, but I don't know. John should know. John will kind of slap you on the face with the exact specifications.
Yeah, I'm just curious how that was, because from the base station into the computer is USB 2, so yes. I know what that rate is at.
It's
I didn't know.
I don't know. I can't tell you. But if you ask it on the forums, I'm very certain that John will reply to that, because he really likes that stuff.
Just curious. It's not real important, obviously, but I'm just interested.
The most important thing about the cable between the instrument and the base station is that it can go up to 40 meters length, which is 20 times longer than a USB cable. which I think is quite important if you want to take an electronic instrument on stage. Being limited by the length of USB cable is not that good. Then also the cable locks in place, so you can't accidentally pull it out, which is also very important when you play on stage. And it's error correcting. So if there is interference from lights or from electrical sources and stuff like that, it's resilient to that. So it still carries data at a full speed and full bandwidth from the Eigenharp to the base station, which then forwards it to the computer. But that's actually why this cable has been developed.
Well, that's good.
As the main reason.
Yeah, that's good.
And Antonio, how long is your cable? You seem to have a lot of really good mobility for your show.
Sorry, I didn't get it all.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you were doing your show at the old castle, you seemed to be quite free to move around.
No, but I just have one cable. The racks were behind that wall.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Geert has two, and it's possible to connect them. Is that right, Geert?
You can't put one cable into the other, but something you can do is so there are two versions of the base station. I don't know. So this is a small one.
Small one. Yeah.
And then we've got a large one that if I pick it up now, I'm not sure that my power cable is not long enough. So the large one is basically has got some inputs for pedals and whatnot, and then the small one is basically a power source or an extender. So you can, if you put this in between, then you can daisy chain those cables. But one cable can be up to 40 meters of length, which is usually long enough. I think I've got one that does 10 meters, I think, or 20. I can't remember.
I think there's a longer cable than the one that it supplies.
Yes.
I think. Yeah. But in my case, the racks were all behind that. I got lucky.
Clever stage design.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to.
Or you just put some kind of a blanket over it and paint it as a rock, and nobody sees it.
Yeah, it could be.
You gotta make sure that no one steps on it, though.
Yeah. I was trying to show the Pico, that's the small one. It's strange I don't have the audio from it. Let me see. It has fewer keys. You have a strip controller also down here. You can blow.
So that's something that you've got on the Alpha also. You've got a breath controller here.
Yeah.
That you can also use if you want to play cello.
Yeah.
And then a microphone. The microphone that you're hearing is actually the microphone that goes through the instrument for me. I've got a microphone mounted on here that goes into a microphone preamp at the top. Well, you can do some weird stuff where you can do vocoders and whatever you want with the audio that goes. It goes through the same system, so you can kind of use all this performance information to kind of influence one another. So the possibilities become quite vast.
I got audio now. This is just the standard sound. It's fantastic how with so few keys what you can come up. I normally talk to people, don't look at the
number
few keys, but but the what you can come up with it's fantastic. I love this. Every show I got, smaller shows, I use it a lot. I love to blow also. It's fantastic.
The nice thing about the Pico is, I've got one here sitting here also. It's basically that your hands don't move. You just take it like this, and then your fingers move, and you don't move your hands, which removes a lot of the complexity into learning an instrument, because you don't have to learn how to, which is the difficult part, how physically you interact with this large area. Which means it has to go through an entire arm and stuff like that. With the Pico, you don't have that. It's just your fingers. which means it's very, very easy to pick up. I think it took me 2 days to start composing with the Pico.
Yeah, I think my case 2 weeks later I was on the premiere of the show with it. A bit scary, but I've managed to come up. Yeah.
And then, since you started this now, Antonio, I'm gonna demo the other one. Just show it. The last one.
Oh, the Tau. Yeah. Bring it on.
Actually, this is so Chrissie. I work for Eigenharps, by the way. So, but I was a player before, so that's why I've got them all, because I need to test them. But I only got this one a couple of weeks ago, because we were sending each and every one out to customers because there were some problems in the supply chain. But finally, I was able to get a demo model. But this one actually is like the Alpha. It has all the same functionalities with the percussion keys and a large keyboard. Not as large, but still very large. You can do a lot with it. The trip controller on the back, headphone output. You can blow here at the top also. And the nice thing, I really like the Tau. It's very light. It's lighter than an electric guitar. And it's very easy to handle. You can just hang it off of your neck and you basically don't feel it. And so my girlfriend started playing this now.
Geert, I've never actually held one of those. It strikes me it would be an advantage to have the strip controller on the back.
I didn't find it that most enjoyable, but I stayed like half an hour or so. I like better on the Alpha, on the sides.
I prefer it on the sides also, but I think that's because I'm used to playing on the Alpha. So I developed my habits of placing my thumb at the side or sometimes on the back. And when I play on the Tau, they sometimes
it's always there.
hit this area. But on the Tau, I think you have a different playing style.
But I like to try it out. Just spend half an hour with it.
So you've
but
got
I like it also.
There's an optional accessory to the Tau, which is a cello spike that's built into the Alpha, but it allows you to create a distance from the ground if you want to play it sitting down or standing up. So that's the tour.
all three childs, as I've mentioned.
The Tau is an amazing piece of work if you look at it close up. It's you've got no seams at all at the front, which is no screws, no seams, and it's made out of metal.
The unibody.
Yes, it's a unibody. It is. It's a
unibody of Eigenharps, I think.
It's quite an interesting piece of mechanics, because you've got this side, which is also totally flat, and then here actually all the electronics are slid in from the opening here, which is the bottom, and then the rest is just one body. It's extremely sturdy, solid, lightweight. It's quite amazing. So yes.
Geert, who was it whose family described his Alpha as the most expensive 2x4 they'd ever seen? Do you remember that? I can't remember who it was, but it struck me as quite funny.
Most expensive what?
2x4.
What's that?
Piece of wood.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I've seen.
Might have been bar none.
Yeah, I've seen acoustic guitars that are much more expensive.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. I'm always mystified by the people who are complaining about the prices of these instruments.
No, I was looking at this nice acoustic guitar. Where was it? On Hello Music or something like that? And it looks like. No, it was on. I can't remember. They make some nice YouTube videos about whatever, a lot of high-end gear, and they said, look at this nice guitar. It sounds very nice. And so we recorded this in our studio and then with those microphones. And this is a very beautiful guitar. If you want it, you can get it at our store. And I just click here. So I click here and I go to the store. It was 16,000 euros.
Whoa.
So that's a beautiful guitar.
And that's it.
So I think that's the case with any good instrument. But
Sure.
no.
I think my Olsen is going for now over $12,000. It was only about $4,000 when I bought it many years ago, but he keeps raising his prices because he keeps getting too many orders.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't slow him down though. But they are nice guitars. But yeah.
Speaking of which, did Tenny actually say he managed to sell his Alpha?
I think he said that someone might be interested, but I wonder if it's not talking about you, Mike.
He might.
Yes.
But I was sort of going, refurbishing? What refurbishing would an Alpha need unless he's been using it to dig holes?
I don't know.
Anyways, I'll have to find out from him.
Yes. Maybe he actually now doesn't want to sell it anymore.
Oh, that's entirely possible. It's a piano black one, isn't it?
Yes, it's a nice one. I think it's one of the only piano black ones. And
I have one.
oh yes, you have one too. Yeah. Well, I think there are only 3 or 4 in existence.
Yeah, Imogen has one also, and Dachike also.
Yes, is Dachike a piano black? Yeah. So there's 4.
Also.
Okay.
4 piano blacks.
Very pretty. Very pretty. At first, I wanted the ebony, like yours, but I would have had to wait another 2 or 3 months for it. And they said, "Oh, we have a black one. Now we can stick some ebony keys in it for you." I said, "Okay,
Go."
I want it." And it is very beautiful. I would almost think it's my first choice now.
Which is good, right? I think we're all happy with the choices we made once we get them because they're just so nicely built. Anyway, enough.
I want to go away from the piano, so no piano black.
Right.
No matter what. Yeah. I'm also loving this one.
So yeah. So anything that you guys were thinking about adding to the setups or changing? Because I'm experimenting with stuff like this at the moment in my free time. I think it's a good idea to post to a couple of setups that do specific things, just like this MIDI thing. And favorite pieces any of you like to play? Actually, Nick, that's a very good point. I think one of the difficulties actually with the Eigenharp is to come up with arrangements for existing pieces. I
like your tweets about Adele's.
Someone like you is very easy to play.
Yeah, it's very easy. I tried it some times ago. Yeah.
Let's just put it in A major.
Yeah, and.
Bye.
Thank you.
I already forgot how to play it. Had this nice arrangement for it, but forgot it already. Chords, but it's the nice thing about that piece is that it's all just major scale, and
yep.
So you have it set up for just major, not chromatic, right?
No, just major.
Yeah, no, chromatic is me crazy one. It's not easy to.
I forgot. Oh no, it's like this. Yeah, I think that's it. I forgot it. I should just look at the sheet music.
Nice piece.
Yeah. Bye, Chrissie. Yeah, she's gone. So that's it. So Chris, this is a piece that's actually quite easy once you get the sheet music in front of you. You tend to forget everything. Yeah. So everything that just falls into the major scales is quite easy because you don't have to think about the chords. You basically just think about positions. So there's the root position, and then the third, and then you go to the seventh and the fifth. And everything falls into place if it's the minor chord or the major chord, because the scale is correct, the chords will be correct. And for the rest, I've been mainly playing originals, trying to come up with original music on it, which is what I like to do when playing music. I'm not that much of a cover guy. And that's what I like also about the Eigenharp. It's the reason why I used open tunings on my guitars. It's basically because I don't know at all what I'm doing. So I just put my fingers somewhere, and whatever sounds nice, and that's it. And I find that on the Eigenharp also, that makes you creative. For the rest, I tried some other pieces. I've tried one of a Muse acoustic guitar song. What's it called again? Unintended. So that was quite nice to play. And then Philip Glass one, when I remember it, I like to play it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's. I tried to play it in a chromatic, but I soon realized it's much more easier.
I forgot my nice arrangements.
It's much more difficult on chromatic, of course.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons to use different scales on the alpha and different splits. Also, I have a lot of those also on my music.
I'm frustrated now that I can't remember this. So Nick, I don't know how technical you are, but something that I like about it also is that when you're playing in a major scale, then you're playing in an isomorphic keyboard, which is anything you play somewhere, you can always just move it anywhere else, and you will get the same relationships between the notes. So as soon as you get some of the patterns recognized, so this is basically a 7-note chord that you can move anywhere. And once you know that, then you can easily expand on that. Yes.
Wow, a duet.
I don't know how much of that was in sync, though.
Oh.
think you have to be in the same country to play a duet, don't you?
Yeah, probably. Not even in the same room, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really amazed at the Hangout here because the lag is not that bad. I mean, you can see there's a little lag, but I mean, it's not really objectionable. It about matches the lag in my brain, so works out good.
So Larry, have you been working on something specific piece on the Eigenharp, or?
I've just been working on trying to learn bel canto and trying to learn how to navigate around, and I've been learning new audio samples, and I'm also been working with new audio units. I added something to the Camel Audio Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
They have a thing called guitar mutations. It wasn't too expensive.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I got another 50 additional sounds along with that. So I have a huge number of sounds in Alchemy to use, and I just ordered Kontakt. So
yeah,
I'm
you're off
definitely
for a
keeping
couple
busy
of
with
months.
that. And also what I've done, and I set a couple pieces of it to Antonio, is I took all the EigenD reference that's on the website Wiki, and I copied and pasted that into Word documents, and then I changed the Word documents into PDFs.
Right.
So it's a little bit easier to use. It's in 8 sections right now, and then there's an index I'll put together for all of that. And it makes it a little bit easier sometimes than going through and back and forth to the web page. Also,
Right.
if you want to print pieces out, and then of course you can also search and index and all that type of stuff in the PDF.
Right.
So
Do realize that we edit the wiki quite regularly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I understand that.
I don't know if you know, but there is an RSS feed for the wiki.
No, I didn't know that.
So you can subscribe to that RSS feed, and then you can see which sections were changed, and if some of these sections might be in the document that you're putting together, then you can kind of update it. So it's just a hint for you.
The RSS feed is great, although it really would be nice if it didn't send a feed every time somebody types a character.
Yeah.
I know. Actually, that's something that we should be more diligent about. It's just not. Yeah.
Well, it's okay. It's easy to delete them.
Save
It's just
it
sort of
10 times instead of 1.
Yeah.
But it's all work.
good.
We have to change this in the way in the content management system. It's I think it's Drupal, but it's already so heavily customized that we can't just upgrade it. And so changes like that mean that we just don't code on EigenD for a day. So,
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've been frustrated by it at times also. It's, too much information just makes you delete it.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, the way I like to work sometimes is I like to print out sections of documentation rather than reading them on the computer all the time. And having it in a PDF makes it pretty easy to just select the section you like and then say print what's on the screen basically to your printer. And then you can customize it that way and just have the pages that you need at the time rather than the entire 300-page booklet.
Yeah. But
I think that's what it came out to, over 300 pages. That's just the EigenD reference.
Yes.
Which I think hopefully is pretty stable.
It's been updated it's been updated two weeks ago, I think. I went through and updated everything so that it would be ready for 1.3. So that will not move much more because 1.4 will not have anything new. Oh, thank you.
Sorry,
I copied it after that, so I should be in pretty good shape then.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't make any changes to it after that, and it will remain extremely stable because any bel canto changes will be for 2.0 now.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps, and I definitely keep the scripts and other things like that, the setups coming, because that even if I don't want to use exactly what you're putting up there, it's a good thing to study and learn from.
Yes. It's one of the reasons why I was doing that.
Yeah, because it's definitely a big challenge to try to learn stuff.
Well, if there's anything specific that you want to know, just send it to me, and
Okay.
and I'll see if I have time for it. No
moment.
promises, though. It's I just do my best juggling all this stuff around. And,
Yeah. No, I'm still very much in the trying to figure it all out stage. Like, once I know what it does, then I might figure out what I can do with it.
But I think that these these MIDI controllers that were added that I added to those MIDI only setups, they might interest you. You say that you like to do experimental music stuff. I think you can do a lot of very interesting stuff with that. It's like, certainly on the Alpha, there's this one row of 3-dimensional joystick controllers in those setups, which I think about it's just mind blowing, because you can kind of move a point inside a ball with just one key, and have three dimensions of parameters of a sound change with a single key. But that are not the playing keys, which is what's nice about it, because there's a lot of sounds that are set up where it makes sense to not have variations on per key instance, but just on the whole sound.
And the instruments I can create in Ableton can have just a huge number of control things rather than the note inputs.
Yes.
In fact, you can not even worry about note inputs and just use controls all the time, and that's almost another way of making music with
Definitely.
it. It's a totally different way of thinking about things.
But I can see someone creating a setup for the Pico, for example, that just only has those control keys that don't play any notes, and it just sets it flat on the table, and then plays it laying flat on the table. You can screw off the thumb hooks and then just lay it flat on the table, and do DJ kind of style producer music with that.
I use it just 1 or 2 times. I have put this small silicone bases, and it's fantastic to put it on the. I don't know if you can see it.
That's a really good idea.
That's a good idea.
You can put it on, at least on my MacBook Pro. It lies surface. It's fantastic. You just screw this off. It's really, really nice.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
you should put a picture of that on EigenZone.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, okay.
And just describe what you did. I think it will inspire some people.
Yeah, okay. By now, with the routing matrix, you could come up with that easily.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you do that, I like to play notes, so... Yeah, and I have a bunch of other controllers I can set to access volumes or effects or something like that. But it's possible to put it... okay, I'll do that photos for you.
Cool.
Yeah, it actually gives that product a complete other life, competing with a whole pile of other products that are actually more expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now people won't buy the Pico and run it and buy an Alpha. They'll buy an Alpha and have to add a Pico.
Yes.
And then they get to practice with their toes on the keys, and it's actually
Well, it's actually possible. I might write an example of that. It's possible to run one EigenD and connect several Eigenharps to it, going into the same agents. Meaning that you can have, for example, a Pico and an Alpha connected to the same EigenD that's running, having them connected independently, and then go to the same audio units if you want to. Meaning that one could control the audio unit that you... For example, imagine that you've got this Pico lying down in front of you here, right? And you're playing notes on the Alpha, but you use this as a strip controller to control that, and then have additional keys to modulate the sound. You could do that. You could use the Pico for that.
Sure, it actually makes it a very interesting slave product.
Yes.
You have to, I have to write that down to put it. Yeah. It's a good idea.
I'll try to write something up that makes this easy to understand about how to do this. But this is how we were doing our demos at the trade fairs. Basically, the Alpha and the Pico were hooked up to the same EigenD, and people could just play it together.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be 2 USB cables going into your computer.
Yes.
Then?
Yes.
Okay. Understood.
into the same computer running the same EigenD application. Not two EigenDs, but just one EigenD.
Just one EigenD, but 2 USB ports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just so that you know, but one of the reasons that EigenD is designed the way it has been designed is with an eye to the future, which means that all the agents in EigenD are actually network capable. So it will be possible to do that over the network and get people joined together in a concert of Eigenharps that are all aware of each other, where someone can change the scale for someone else or change tempo for everyone, and
I like it.
Control.
I like it.
Control the effects of the whole group, and so that's all. That's all designed into the software. It will just take time until we find good ways of making this accessible to people, which is the tricky part now. It's
fantastic possibilities.
I've done
John
that
Cage will be flipping over in his grave right now. I don't know how much you know about John, but he was, he did a lot of very forward-thinking stuff, but he was limited by the state of the hardware. So he was trying to do workarounds with the existing hardware at the time.
Right.
But I don't know if you like his music or not, but I like his philosophies.
I don't know much about him, only what everyone knows, which is his famous piece, which is 4 minutes 37 seconds. So what is it?
Right. Yeah.
With Stage, I've played a bit, give the iPad to my daughter, and she just put more volume on certain sounds and change the scales, and it was fun. And you can do that with 2 or 3 Macs also, sharing the same stage.
Yes, that's also something interesting about Stage. Once you have it running on your iPhone or iPad, you can have different screens on your iPod and different screens on your iPad, just arranged differently or with different controls. And you can have as many of them as you want, all connected together. So you could have an iPod Touch stuck to the back of your Eigenharp with some additional controls, with an iPad in front of you, and I don't know, some Android device which we're gonna release an Android version also, somewhere else, and they all connect together. That is already working. So
wow.
So where EigenD becomes kind of the expressive brain of the music you're creating, where the Eigenharp is kind of the uber instrument to play it, but you could play it with anything you want.
Yeah.
You see the smoke coming out of my head yet? This is amazing stuff. It I just love all this. New, different, totally different way of doing things.
Yes. I'll have to sign off because in a couple of minutes kids will come screaming in. So.
Yeah, it's about time, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, well, see you next week, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Bye.
Take care.
Off to do my grocery shopping now. Not near as much fun as this.
No, bye.
Goodbye.